Hey guys, and welcome to my next Doctor Who December video. This video is going to be my next installment for ranking the RTD era episodes or stories. And yeah, this is going to be numbers 20 to 11. So we're really getting to all kinds of stories that I really enjoyed watching. And yeah, let's get into it. Number 20 on the list is The Impossible Planet and the Satan Pit. I wasn't the biggest fan of this the first time around. I didn't dislike it, but it just didn't jump out at me so much. I liked it a lot more on a rewatch, obviously, as it's number 20. What I did love about it is I loved the big cast. I love any sort of kind of outer space, bigger cast episodes. They tend to be more my thing. I just think that they're just my vibe. I wasn't a big fan of the villain, or towards the end, but there were some moments that I just thought were really great throughout, the story. So yeah, it's gone significantly higher for my opinion. Number 19 on the list is the Bad Wolf Parting of Ways two-parter. It's so strange to think about me and how I was feeling about everything back then, because it was still this show to me that I was really trying to figure out. And what I will say on a rewatch, I liked the moment where he sends Rose home. I felt was like such a very strong and emotional moment, and I felt a lot more emotion, watching that the second time around. I liked that there was kind of a very epic finish to this, plotline story of Bad Wolf. I liked that a lot. I'm not sure how much I liked the like Rose kind of taking out all the Daleks and stuff, but I loved a lot of moments, and barring kind of the weakest link reality game show stuff, it's a really very well done two-part finale, and I enjoyed it a bit on a rewatch. Number 18 on this list is Smith and Jones. This is an episode that I just find myself, if I do rewatch, there's a couple that I go back and I rewatch. This is one of them, and I can't entirely tell you why, but I love it. I love the adventure of it all. I love the plot. I love the story of it. I think it is a great introduction for Martha, just wonderful. And it's a fun story. It's not one of those ones that I'll rewatch because it's super emotional or a big plot or super epic or anything, but it's just a good time, I feel like. And I really like the Jadoon. They have to be up there of one of my favorite, Doctor Who aliens, or I just absolutely find them to be great. And yeah, so that has number 18 on the list. Number 17 on the list is the Runaway Bride. I didn't think it was the best plot that was ever put together for the show, or the best story, so to speak. However, I believe, the chemistry between Ten and Donna I think they hit it off right away, and I love that. Again, it's another one that you can kind of go back and watch that's kind of fun and exciting, and I just absolutely love kind of her introduction into the show. I like that she's a bit different than the other, companions. I guess at that point we only really had Rose, but I like her kind of approach with how she even communicates with the Doctor, and it was a good time, and definitely one of my favorites. Number 16 on this list is Planet of the Ood. this was one of the ones very early on that made me kind of say, oh, I actually think I'm going to really like this season. And some of it was a bit campy or ridiculous, or, you know, whatever you kind of want to call it. But I loved that this episode, more so than a lot of episodes, did a great job of kind of threading that line of fun and silly, but, you know, sweet and somber at the same time. You know, that scene where, you know, they show that it's their brains in the hand. I mean, it got to me, and the enslaving of them, and it was just very emotional. And the way that Donna, you know, was kind of growing, I feel like maybe along with me. It sounds weird, but I remember the first time I saw the Ood in the Impossible Planet two-parter, I just was like, oh, these guys, because I mean, they were not nice, and I had very little sympathy towards them or anything like that. And so I felt like I was on this journey with Donna in this episode, and I just, absolutely loved it. Number 15 on the list is probably one of those ones that people are like, say what? Because I think it's regarded as one of the worst episodes of season 1. I'm not entirely sure. Let me know. But, you know, if something's regarded as a really bad episode, you know I'm gonna love it. And that is Boomtown. I love Boomtown. And it's so funny because I really, really did not like the Slitheen. It's so hard to say. And I didn't want them to come back. I didn't want to say, as soon as I was like, no, we're not going back to this shit, are we? However, we went through a very interesting moral dilemma, which they've gone into moral dilemmas, you know, later on in the show, and kind of maybe slightly more fleshed out. But I loved the idea of, you know, what does the Doctor do in this sense with this Slitheen. I just absolutely loved it. And I think Mickey had some great moments as well. So, you know, I mean, obviously. But it's just so lovely. And I really, really enjoyed that episode a lot. And I still enjoyed it on a rewatch. I was going through season 1 and rewatching these episodes, and again after Boomtown, I was like, oh, I really enjoyed that. And I think it was probably the first, was it the first, just one of the first episodes that when I first reacted to the show, that I left saying like, oh yeah, I actually really enjoyed that one. Number 14 on this list is the Army of Ghosts Doomsday two-parter finale of season 2. So I loved the whole Daleks and Cybermen together. I think I probably would have appreciated it more if I saw something like that now, with a lot of kind of history of the show that I've seen and stuff like that. However, it still was kind of crazy even to watch then. And I still could kind of appreciate that. I mean, a lot of your minds probably like exploded when you saw that. I thought it was a great two-parter. I liked the incorporation of Torchwood in it. I liked, obviously, I liked that Mickey came back. I was so happy. I was so happy. And, you know, I can appreciate how probably devastating the Rose exit was for a lot of fans. You know, it's no secret that I did not connect to Rose as a character. I don't hate her, but I just never had that sort of connection with her. So it was sad to me. But I wasn't, you know, like bawling my eyes out like I have with future companion exits and stuff like that. What I love about Doctor Who, my little spiel about this, is that every single person can cling to a different companion or a different story based on their personality, based on their journey and stuff like that. And I love that. And as much as I maybe didn't, you know, cry my eyes, I think there was a comment on my Doomsday reaction. They were like, I look up Doomsday reactions to watch people suffer and cry, and I felt like you just trolled me. It was kind of funny. Even if I didn't get, you know, like bawling my eyes out, I can appreciate how heartbreaking that is, you know what I mean? So yeah, and it was, the second time around, I was just as depressed, you know, as the first time around, that they gave me Mickey and then they took him away. The fuck is that? Number 13 on the list, probably one, if not the one that insanely improved on a rewatch, is The Empty Child, Dr. Dance's two-parter. But loved it on the second rewatch so much. I think that I just absolutely loved the ending. Such a feel-good ending. The first time that I watched it, I remember being super skeptical of Jack and not, and I'm actually curious, maybe I asked this back then, or maybe I was still skeptical, I don't know. Like, did you guys know that he was, I don't know. For me, just the meeting between him and Rose, the whole time I was like, I don't know if you could trust this guy. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know. And I think that kind of distracted me from a lot of the loveliness of his character in the first, and eventually I ended up loving Jack. It was so much, but it was just kind of funny that in that episode I remember distinctively being very skeptical. And fun fact, the first time, I believe that was Christmas Day or Christmas Eve. One of those was like when I kind of watched that two-parter like 2 years ago or something. So kind of funny going back and watching that. It was a while ago, and my opinions on Doctor Who have changed greatly, but I just absolutely loved it. I loved kind of the sweet story of it all, and I just, you know, it's just so funny how you know, your opinions can kind of change over time. And I think that was the episode that I think has improved the most for me. Number 12 on this list is Partners in Crime. I know, it's literal fat walking away. I understand. It's weird. I'm not really all about it, but I don't care. Donna 10 sold that episode. So good. I love watching that episode. It is just so good to me. When they're in the like the office and they keep missing each other and popping up and down and like, oh my god, just pure wonderful, yeah, silliness, but comedy. And that's the thing. I like when Doctor Who gets super, super dark, but if they can do an episode that's kind of charming and fun, I don't mind it, and I actually really like it, and I'm actually like just great. I mean, again, I'm not entirely sure how I feel about fat becoming things and walking around and being cute. By the way, a lot of people are like, aren't they so cute? I still don't think that they're that cute. I think that it's weird. But I kind of got over that pretty quickly because of the performances that Catherine Tate and David Tennant put on in that episode. Just loved it. And number 11 on this list, and let me tell you, I narrowed it down to about a top 11 of the ones that would be in like my final video, and deciding which of those 11 was going to go to the 20 to 11 video was so difficult because these are all episodes that I absolutely adore and love, a lot for many, many different reasons. But so number 11 on the list is The Waters of Mars. I know, it's such a good episode, but and the why I'm saying this is just I loved seeing the Dark Doctor. I loved that, and I think David Tennant pulled that off very, very well. I loved the concept of it, not so much that it was terrifying. I did think that it was scary. I think a lot of the villains that you know, Doctor Who does, they can be very, very scary in a simplistic way. I feel like you kind of should know a little bit where I'm going with that, but they can be very terrifying. I'm not entirely sure I found it to be the scariest thing. However, I did think that it was absolutely tragic. I loved the plot of, like, he got there and these people are, he knows that they're all going to die and there's some accident. He doesn't know what's going on. I mean, it is just such a great story that I just absolutely adore, in a kind of terrifying way. I don't know, but the will that all of these characters had to survive and to, you know, kind of make it out alive, and the decision that the Doctor made at the end is just such a great episode, and I absolutely loved it, and I'm upset but something had to not be in my top 10, and so I picked that one. But yeah, I still really love this episode. So yeah, that's about it. That is my entire 20 to 11 list. I'm sure that this list is probably kind of bizarre to some of you people. I'm sure that a lot of you would have put, you know, like the Parting of Ways and Doomsday in your top 10, or the Doctor dances and stuff like that. A lot of the ones that are in my top 10, which I'm sure you can narrow down if you really wanted to, of at least what 10 episodes are there, or just ones that I personally really just like felt an attachment to or loved for whatever particular reason. And yeah, I can't wait to share those with you guys as well. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.